gaming is coming. The Wynn Hotel have a license now for gaming in RAC. MGM, the CEO, he has gone in for a license for gaming in Abu Dhabi.
No way.
Yeah,
that's going to blow up Abu Dhabi.
This place is going to explode off the chart. These guys aren't messing around. This is going to be the place. This is why I've done a big restructure. This is why I'm getting stuck in.
From 2020 to 2024, you've picked up almost 800 units. So what has been the secret of getting so many units?
It's tough.
250 employees in your company. So how do you keep your staff motivated? Because obviously that's the big part of your business now.
Well, I bought everyone a lot of donuts on Friday afternoon. Who thought Dubai would have bounced out of COVID the way it did?
And then the Russian war.
You look at the West is crumbling. When the rest of the world seems to wobble, this place just sticks out.
Say just the worst case scenario, there's like a US is involved, Iran is involved, there's an all-out war. How much would that affect Dubai?
A lot.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I think because you're in the Middle East.
All right, Gregory, so excited to talk to you, man. You're the owner and CEO of AirDXB, one of the biggest holiday home companies in Dubai, right?
Yeah, that's
How many units do you have?
Closing in on 1,000.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet. I'm so because obviously I have like 35 apartments in Dubai. I have 35 apartments in Iceland. So I'm getting to the point where it's like really hard to manage all of that. So I'm super excited to talk to people like you that have crossed that, because it stops becoming. It becomes a massive business, and there's so many things, so many moving parts, and you have to have good players managing different parts. So it becomes a different game. So I'm super excited to learn about you, or learn from you, and ask you so many questions.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely,
thank you for having me.
So why did you get into the Airbnb business?
Okay, so I've always been in property. I got into property in 2000 back in the UK. I came out to Dubai 14 years ago now, worked as a broker, worked then for a very big firm called Knight Frank, big consultancy firm around the world, real estate firm. And it was just that one morning I woke up and went, hang on, there's a lot of stock here. There is not a lot of people to rent it, so landlords are losing money. And at the time, Dubai was the 4th most visited city on the planet. You start connecting those dots. So I thought, hang on, let's do it. Holiday homes was legalized, but no one in Dubai knew what it was. So when I went into this, it was trying to tell owners that going down the long-term route, getting a check up front is not what you want to do. Let's capitalize on the tourism industry. And that kicked off in 2018. And then bang, here we all are.
Damn.
250 employees and lots going on.
Let's see, 250 employees in your company.
Across the group. So we have the interiors, we have renovations. Of course, we've got the management side of the business as well. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of people.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean, you must have, starting at that time must have been like the best time to start.
I didn't have a lot of money. I had about $30,000 to my name, which I put into this. So it was a gamble. And I went into a market that didn't know what holiday homes was. So from both sides of the coin. One, there was no competition because no one was doing it. So I didn't have that. But massive risk because owners just didn't know what it was. And why would I not take one check up front and rely upon you to get payments monthly? Yeah. But the market wasn't great at the time, so we capitalized on it.
Yeah. I guess there was also risk of regulations, like it wasn't as clear as now.
No. I mean, there's a couple of alterations and changes which have happened, but what you see now, the manual from DTCM is very, very similar. Very similar. They legalized it in 2016. Okay. So I formed the company in 2018. There could have been some changes before I wouldn't know. And of course, I'm sure as you know, you see different things come through from DTCM saying we've changed this or do that. But no, it was very much collect your tourism, dear and fee. You know, here is your apartments. This is what you must have in it and all this sort of stuff. So it's been pretty straightforward from the word go for us.
Okay, I got you. So before we go into like a lot of details, I want to get your story a little bit. So I heard you were called back in the day the King of the Palm or something like that.
Was I?
Yeah, somebody told me that because you were a broker first and you just dominated Palm Jumeirah. Was that right?
I was more Emirates Hills. I was top end.
Okay.
So things like the Royal Atlantis when it launched, I was part of that team and I was doing lots of these wonderful things. Would I go as far to call me that? Probably not.
Okay,
I like it. I like it.
You like it?
I'd like to get a badge with that written on it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, maybe I'm mixing something up, but okay. So talk to me. So 14 years ago, how did you decide to go from the UK to Dubai to become a broker?
My brother lives here and so I was out visiting him. Saw what was going on. The UK, there's nothing wrong with it. The problem I always had with the UK is you know how your life is going to go because of whether it's tax, whatever the situation is, unless you are one of those very, very, very small percent is going to come up with that rocket idea that's just going to fling you forward. You knew you were going to make tops 150,000 sterling a year. You knew you were going to get up at 7 o'clock each morning, get on the tube, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't for me. So I came out here, my brother's in property, saw what was going on. I thought, I like this. I like this. And then I just came over. Very different mentality. It's ruthless over here. It's commission only, all of that sort of thing. Whereas back in the UK, I was selling top end property. So I had clients like Madonna.
So you were already a broker in the UK?
Oh yeah. 2000 got into property when I was 17. Wow. Walked out of school and walked straight into property. And so I was selling big country homes on the south coast. People like Madonna, Guy Ritchie, Rowan Atkinson, all second homes. A lot of the very wealthy stockbrokers, all these guys coming down with bonuses.
Okay.
You come out here and then you go, okay, right, this is now rewriting the rule book. You go into Emirates Hills, places like that, you think, wow. And so, yeah, just gave it all up, came out here, ended it with a girlfriend, one-way ticket, I was out. Came out and thought, give it a go, and here I am 14 years later.
Awesome, man. It's wild. So when you got here, did you feel like you sold more? It was easier to sell, or what? No, it was harder.
A lot harder because I'll say it's ruthless because it's broker mentality. It's commission only.
Yeah.
I used to sell big country estates where you would spend a week or two valuing it because it was 200 acres with barns and a 20,000 square foot country home, and it had this and this, and you've got to sit down and really think logically about what's the value of that.
Yeah.
In Dubai, is it a B type, C type?
Yeah.
It will be worth that, and away you go. And so for me, there was less of, it's hard to phrase it, but it was a lot more, here it was a lot more conveyor belt sales. So it was easier, but that brings a lot more competition, a lot more aggression. So when I'm walking in saying, okay, Mr. Owner, let's have a nice chat about what we're going to do. No, I've got 10 brokers on it. They've done this, they're doing that. I was like, whoa. Okay, this is different. And it's a dog-eat-dog world out here.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's crazy. So I'll tell you, when I moved to Dubai, I actually applied for a bunch of jobs, and I got a job at a real estate agency and a holiday home company. I got both. And I started working as a broker for 3 months. While I was scanning Dubai, learning about everything, I knew I wanted to sublease. And I was shocked when I found out how competitive real estate is here. It's insane. And they just gave me a list of owners, and they're just like, start calling. Yeah. And I'm like, what? I'm just trying to call these owners, and no one wants to talk to me. And I'm like, Jesus Lord. And they're all getting like 5 phone calls every day. It's crazy.
And it's soul destroying. That's what I found. You're getting up and you're like, this isn't where I want to be. When I've come from an industry back in the UK, which was a lot more suit, tea, a good conversation for 2 hours about valuing a 400-acre estate or whatever it was, to suddenly jumping into this where it's go. Yeah. It was like almost, it was like jumping into like a pressure cooker. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, whoa, this isn't really what I wanted to do. But I left on a huge high. I did a 93 million dirham deal in Emirates Hills, broken records and everything. Like mic dropped. I went, there you go. Okay. Off to do AirDXB. Annoyingly, I think it was 6-7 months later, someone did a bigger deal. But to do that deal alone, it was that was tough, very different from what I'm used to.
So you sold a 93 million dirham property. That in dollars, that's $30 million?
$30 million. And this was back in 2017.
So that's like a massive villa.
Huge. Oh yeah, 38,000 square foot built up.
And how was that a ready property, or was it about to be built?
No.
And how did
ready.
you find the buyer?
They found me.
They found you.
They found me. I was a big global consultancy firm, Knight Frank. So our advertisement was very good. It had that global reach. Person said, we're coming over. This is what we want. Want a big property. Showed them around, and deal done.
Awesome. Man.
And that was great. I mean, when you walk away from that, you think, should I be doing this? Yeah. But for me in the short-let world, I could just see where I wanted to go with it. I could connect the dots. And I've been in real estate for so long. But what I haven't said is that I did set up 2 holiday homes companies back in the UK for my boss at the time. I was 21 and again 26.
Years old? You were 21?
I was 21, so I was in property since I was 17. But the company that I was at when I was 21, through to when I left when I was 27, my boss said, because we're on the south coast of England, lots of holiday homes and this sort of thing, Airbnb didn't exist. Fax machines, you could only check in between 3 and 5 on a Saturday. That was it. Very different landscape. Yeah. Created it, sold it, he made some money and asked me to do it again for him.
Okay, so you had a holiday home company before Airbnb existed.
Yeah.
And how did you market your properties?
That's a good question. You had some online portals, but it was predominantly your own website.
Okay, maybe Booking.com was there?
No.
No?
We weren't on that back at the time.
So you just created a website and you just did...
This is it. And then word would get out. You'd advertise in magazines. Remember those things,
Yeah.
you know?
I've heard about those.
About those. You'd advertise in magazines. People would pick it up. You go door to door in the area, so it would be word of mouth would come out. Very different landscape. I look now and think, how do you even make that work? You have fax machines. As I said, check-in was only 2 hours on a Saturday a week. That was your check-in time. So you book week to week.
Yeah.
Mad. You think what we're doing now?
Yeah. Different world.
Very different.
World.
Not easy back then. Tough.
Yeah.
Well, there was no competition because no one was really doing it. And of course, you would dictate then to a guest, this is when the check-in is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. But now,
Yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. One last thing. So how much was your commission on that house you sold?
On the real estate, 2%.
2%. So the $30 million you sold, you get 2% in your pocket.
For the company.
Okay.
And then I would get whatever
Okay.
I got.
Jeez, that's a lot of money. But then how, okay, so did you start subleasing like I am? That's how you started getting into it?
No. I just jumped straight in with the company, understood more about how this would work because it was quite cavalier. As I said, there was very few companies that were doing it.
Okay.
And actually what I wanted to do was rent because I was traveling and a company actually came in and I went, whoa, this is bad. I can do this way better. Yeah. Put that with what I just knew because what I wanted to do was go out, buy property, refurb it, put it on Airbnb until it's sold. But this was back in 2018. And bear in mind, the market in Dubai was on free fall from 2016 right up to COVID. So what's going on now is what I was wanting to do back then. Yeah. But the market was in free fall. Then COVID hit, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but that was a very interesting experience. But then I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew something worked. You're in the fourth most visited city on the planet. Yeah. And holiday homes doesn't really exist yet. It's coming.
Was it already popular in America and UK?
Yeah. It was flying. I mean, lots of Airbnb was moving. Everyone. I was using Airbnb myself. I talk about a story where I stayed in an aeroplane in the border of America and Mexico called Las Cruces, and it was an Airbnb, and that was 6 months in the lead up to me launching AirDXB because I was over in the States doing bits and pieces, and I was thinking, this is firing. Now I can't get an aeroplane and obviously rent that out in Dubai, but that market was flying. But then you look at what Dubai offers, you look at the tourism aspect. As I said, the fourth most visited city on the planet. It was Bangkok, London and Paris. The three above that. You're thinking, it's coming now and I'm going to be on the charge. I've got the flag and let's go.
Exactly.
And then boom, COVID happened, tough times, but then everybody after COVID, everyone came
and look at you now, 700 units almost.
Way more.
Oh, sorry.
Very, very close to 1,000.
Very close to 1,000. Jesus Lord. But okay, so who were the companies at the time when you started? Are they still around? Guest Ready was not there.
No. Deluxe might have been.
Okay.
Key something.
Not there today?
No. Key View sadly has, I don't know what's happened the last 6 months. They're out the market. They were quite big players. Key View, yeah.
What do you think happens?
I don't know. I mean, I've met in passing. Funny thing is, when you go into holiday lets, you have very, very cross communication or business with other owners of what we do because you're fighting for the same. When I was a broker, you would work with other agents because one would have the buyer, one would have the stock.
Yeah.
In this, I just keep my head down and keep going because everyone is, you're not going to do much business with the competition, are you?
Yeah.
A couple of occasions, I've met some people like at DTCM and we're invited in to give opinions on certain things. But Key View, I met one chap there, lovely guy, but that was about 2 years ago. But I was told by an owner, this is what's happened. And then I heard some other bits and then I was shown some things. And I was like, yeah, they've gone. Yeah. But what happened to them?
It's kind of an interesting business because you have the competitors. You can't really work together. It's just competition.
Yeah.
And honestly, the less information you share is kind of the better. And then I've gone the exact opposite route and I just share everything.
But that's why I think you're great.
That's why I kind of shocked everyone. It's like, why is he sharing everything?
Good lad. I think it's perfect. When you did it, I saw it and I just went, I like this. Because why not?
Yeah.
Why not demonstrate? Why not show? Why not be transparent and go, that's what's going on. That unit lost, that unit made. How are you going to lose by doing this? You're not.
The only way I lose is, say there's a tower that I really like to sublease in.
Yeah.
Then, and I document it very much and say, this is awesome. Then, everybody comes in there and, competition becomes
Stop being good at what stop being good.
What's that?
Stop being good. Stop being so good at what you're doing. I mean, everyone is following you, but I get that, but in the same capacity, it's a big city. There's a lot of option here.
That's the thing. I can just go to other towers. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing right now. There's this one tower that most of my apartments are in. And right now, I'm not finding any more good deals. So then I just go to the next tower, you know. That's how it is.
There's a lot there. Are you finding more landlords want to work with you because of what you're doing and how you're demonstrating what you're doing?
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
It really does. Because they can just see my profile, scroll through it. They're like, oh, yeah, units look good. He's legit. Perfect. Let's do it. That helps a lot, actually. And so even though like I'm creating some competition for myself, I get so many other benefits. And also just, you know, the furnishing companies want to work with me, you know, give me a little discount if I tag them and, you know, all kinds of things. But so when you started the company, did you just went straight into management? Where did you find the leads? Was it just because you had such a big presence and real estate agent? You could easily get people to give you their apartments?
Brokers. I don't want to cold call. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want any of that. That's not what I wanted to do. That's why I stepped away. But brokers know owners and they have the black books. Yeah. So what I started doing is offering referral fees, building reputations, buying the beers and all the rest of it and saying, look, this is what I'm doing. We're going to make you more money the long term because long term is on free fall. And so at the time, you know, you still see lots of these agents say, we're going to make you 40% more, which agents need to now start rethinking that. That was possible back then. You know, things like Palm Views West, as we were talking about earlier, off camera, is back in the day, the 45,000 dirhams. We were netting clients over 100. That's 55,000, and you were netting them net.
Oh yeah, so long term was 45, but you got the owner into his pocket 100
over 100
with Airbnb.
Over
it's
100.
Insane. Imagine if you were subleasing that. That's so much split there.
And that's what I did. I was subleasing. I was doing what you were doing, or what you are doing now. I picked up X amount of units. It was double digits. Not doing it anymore, focusing on AirDXB and everything like that. But when you start seeing that level of money coming through, you were doubling your money. Not only for myself, but I did 10, 15 units. You know, it's not a lot. But with clients, it was pitching the concept and the idea and reassuring them that going for long term with a check up front was the wrong thing to do. The minute you did that, and I know it sounds easy, but the minute you did that, the minute you then demonstrated it, the floodgates open. Because the owner would tell another owner, would tell another owner, tell another owner. Brokers would be like, what's going on? So what I did is engage with brokers, still do. A lot of our business, about 60, 70% comes from brokers. You know, we've got great relationships, wonderful, wonderful relationships, companies like Strada and these guys, but they will refer business over, and by us demonstrating the returns we can make, it helps support them to get the deal done. So it's a win-win all round.
Yeah, and you give them a commission for referring, obviously.
It's a referral fee, yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
If you own an apartment in Dubai and you want to maximize the revenue, you want to be running that apartment on Airbnb and Booking.com. But if you don't want to do that yourself, you have to make sure to pick a good operator. And now I'm finally offering that service with my two partners, and that we're managing apartments for other people for 20% of the revenue. So you take 80%, we take 20%, and we really maximize your revenue. We got 17 apartments already, and all the owners are so happy, and we're going into the high season. So if you want us to manage your apartment, book a call with us in the description below.
Crazy. All right. So you got obviously units all over Dubai, right?
Yeah.
Do you only focus on high end, or do you go in the low end? Do you got studios in JVC? You take everything, or what's your portfolio?
Everything. When I first opened, because of logistics, because I outsourced everything, now we insource everything. But back in the day, you know, capital, time, staffing, you know, all of this, it's a very expensive process that I have now, very expensive. But back in the day, as we'd outsource and the rest of it, for me to travel and maneuver around and then outsource to companies to maneuver around, the cost went up.
Yeah.
So I just focused on your prime areas. So your band A's, so your downtowns, marinas, a lot easier than where we are now because of what the market's doing, Palm, of course. And we focused on that. And when someone would say, okay, do you want to take something on a town square? I'll say no, because logistically it didn't make sense. Now we're the size and we have the capabilities that we have now, we will do all of that. But what we won't do is go towards, let's say, the airport. So that side of Dubai, we want to stick to the 2000 and onward style construction.
Yeah.
Right. So New Dubai, if you want to call it that, even though it's 25 years ago now, isn't it? 25 years ago, sorry. But we'll concentrate on that. But we'll go as far out to places like Town Square now, which is a distance, Dubai South, all the rest of it, because we have the,
capability to do
exactly that.
Okay.
Exactly
So
that.
how fast did you grow? Like before COVID hit, how many units did you have?
Testing me now. 200,
200, yeah.
150.
Okay, and then
200.
COVID hits. Walk me. What happened?
was sat at the end of my bed for a while with my head in my hands thinking, what do? You're functioning off tourism, and tourism needs to get here on an aeroplane, right? And it's all shut down.
Okay.
And one thing I went very, very heavy into, and I'm self-taught, so I was interior designing as well. Self-taught, went up, less is more, think logically, look at what a guest wants, place it accordingly. Now, at the time, the holiday homes that were available weren't great, so it didn't take that much to step up. But what I did is kept refining my process, refining my thought process. So much research online as to what works and what doesn't. That the products that we had pre-COVID were good. Nowhere what they are now. What we're producing now, I think, I'm going to say it, best in the market, but is fantastic. But back then, you were looking at it going, this is nice. But when COVID hit, what we found was a lot of people couldn't travel, so they needed to stay somewhere. But because our product quality was good, everyone pounced on it.
When you say quality good, it's just like the furniture you had and everything.
Furnishing it, yeah. I'm not talking about a 20,000 dirham sofa, but I'm talking about a good design.
Yeah.
You know, it isn't just I went to Dubizzle and spent 4,000 dirhams, the absolute bare minimum, there you go.
Yeah.
We did more than that, but of course what we don't want to do is overspend because it affects the owner's, net return, of course. So when I actually looked at the product and the portfolio and the product, it was very good. So what we found is a lot of people then couldn't travel. After everybody realised they were stuck for a while. So on week 3 or 4 after COVID, our floodgates opened. We actually made more money for owners over COVID than before because no one could move, and because everyone then knew they were stuck, they wanted quality property
and had to stay for a month maybe, and you got longer bookings.
And interesting. It's what I'm saying this with a smile. My overheads flatlined.
Your overhead, why?
My overheads because we're doing cleaning, but that was it because you couldn't leave your home, and because guests couldn't leave their homes. So all these overheads are moving around and paying for this and paying for that. You couldn't do it. So keep numbers incredibly simple. If my overheads were 100 dirhams a month, that dropped 25% because you couldn't leave your home. So not only were we getting more on a nightly rate, the overheads of the business were dropping because we couldn't move around as much. So when I look back on it, I look back at my big smile on my face because at the time, like everyone around the world was, how's this going to end? But I look back and say, I made more money than I had done in the previous year or two.
Yeah.
Mad.
Dubai did pretty good though. The lockdown wasn't that long, and right?
A couple of years.
There was a lockdown for a couple of years?
It was a couple of years on and off, but Dubai was so good with it. They were so good with it. I remember it was a ticketing system. You had to go to the doctors or do this or go to the shops. But Dubai knows that it needed people here, so it didn't mess around. So the minute there was even a suggestion there was COVID coming here, it was an outbreak by X%, everyone go indoors now for the next 10 days. So you were on and off all the time. And then I think you got to about end of the year, then you were allowed out a bit more. And then of course COVID just disappeared, didn't it? Literally overnight, suddenly no one talks about it anymore, it's gone. So Dubai handled it incredibly well, but they were very strict because they knew the function of tourism, functions of travellers. So if we don't take this seriously, we're just going to delay getting back to normal. This is why the city did so well. Yeah. This is why I love doing what I do. Tourism is one of their biggest industries, so they're not going to let that slip through their fingers easily or let anything come near it. Yeah. So of course, my clientele like yours, Dubai is always going to be supporting us because that's what they want, don't they?
Yeah.
More people come through to Dubai. So COVID was tough at the time, and the problem is with COVID, again, everyone around the world will say the same. You never knew what was going to happen the next day. So mentally, you're like, okay, today was all right. What's tomorrow? But then when you come out of it, you look back, you think, we actually made more money. Which I never would have anticipated. Yeah. I wish I knew that before because I would have enjoyed COVID more.
You maybe would have picked up more units probably.
You couldn't go in, you couldn't go. I mean, these guys were strict. I mean, Dubai was strict. You couldn't go out, and at a certain point of time, I remember when I was on the Palm, you heard this big humming noise. What on earth is that? Went outside the front door and there's a drone going down the centre of the Palm, cameras looking for people, making sure everyone was indoors. I was like,
jeez, that's wild.
Yeah. But again, you look back, you think brilliant, but at the time you're like, my God, But it was an interesting time, that's for sure.
Crazy. And then after COVID, that's when because obviously from 2020 to now 2024, you've picked up like almost 800 units, right? So what has been the secret of getting so many units?
It's almost come fashionable. Every real estate firm now has a property management or a holiday home bolt-on. All the media talks about it. So everything that I've been shouting about was now being done for me. Great on one side, but on the other side, there was a lot more competition. For me, I always say it, my staff get sick of it. Less is more. Simplify. We're not trying to be I like to think we're pioneering, but I don't like to think we're trying to be clever, because then I think that's when you can derail yourself. Just keep it steady, keep it straight, and keep focused. And as I said, simplify, keep those processes simple. So although everyone then came out shouting about it, we were obviously years ahead. We had processes, we had systems and stuff online, and then you get to a point, and I had a number in my head of stock. I think that number was, my wife laughs all the time. She said, you got to 100, then you got to 200, then you got to 300. And you always say, when I get there,
you start
oh, chill. And it's like, oh no, that's not happening. That's not happening. And I just said, right, I'm at a T-junction now. I either take what I've got, it's a good lifestyle, I'm enjoying the job, or let's go for it. And so we've gone for it. And the money that I'm playing back into the company now is big right now. But even back then I went, right, because you've got the competition, and again, because you don't know what the competition's going to do. But what you find is all these brokerages have opened these departments.
What do you think about that? It's like every real estate agency has a management company as well.
Oh, it's good. Because to them, it's a bolt-on.
Yeah.
AirDXB is my core business. It's my passion. It is. It's my baby. These real estate firms, it's a bolt-on.
And what do you mean bolt-on? What's that?
It's a bolt-on. So brokerage is our main business, and if someone wants to do it, they'll do that over there.
Yeah.
So having someone like me that's been doing real estate now for a quarter of a century, effectively, you haven't got many people like me in this seat driving the business forward. What you find with these brokerages is they'll go and employ someone with 18 months experience in the short let, where I go, can you run this for us?
Yeah.
So for me, I actually at the time was thinking, oh, here we go. This is going to saturate. We've got big competition. Is that actually you found that these other companies that formed were actually supporting us in what we were doing, because I think we were running at a high level.
I guess because they're going to pitch to their owners like short term, but then they're maybe not going to trust that firm, and then they're going to find you eventually because you got the most experience.
Most experience, and we're focused on it. Our focus is this.
Exactly.
I mean, the brokerages could only be doing this to wait for the owners to then sell it, to bring it back, because that's where the money is, and we don't do that. We are here to short let and get you the most amount of money possible.
Exactly.
And that's what our focus is, and that's where all our money goes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people misunderstand about this kind of business. It's a lot of skill involved, a lot of it, and you need somebody directly focused on it to actually maximize the revenue.
Hardest thing I've done in real estate. Yeah. I've sold almost 100 million dirham properties. I've sold country estates. Clients of mine used to be Madonna. This is the hardest possible thing because of the level of moving parts.
Yeah.
It's off the chart.
Exactly.
You come into this seat and the pressure, and you look at the logistics and how many different departments we have and what they do. It's like the Matrix. You see it in a certain way. And if you aren't giving that 110%, if you aren't burning out, which I had a couple of incidents with my health. I had a stroke at one point, a mini stroke.
Wow.
Dusted myself off and got back on my desk an hour later.
When did that happen?
Happened 3 years ago.
And what were you just pushing too hard?
Just burning. I mean, it was averaging 15, 16 hour days. So what I'd actually do is come in and I would sleep between 8 and 10 or 11 at night, work through until 4 in the morning, sleep for 3 hours, work for another 5, 6 hours, sleep. Pushed hard. Had a mini stroke. My wife wasn't happy at that point.
You were going to... I bet. Yeah. Jeez. So did you have an office that you went to every day, or did you work from home?
No. So because I worked in the corporate world, I hate having meetings about a meeting. I hate being sat in a lift. I hate getting stressed at traffic.
Exactly.
I work from home. Of course, we have an office. We definitely have an office now because of the size of us, but our office size is not 20,000 square foot or anything like that. Nothing like that. We want to empower our staff and work from home. And I've always said to my staff, as soon as you get the job done, I mean, you can't hide because of technology and because of the numbers, and not that my staff ever would. But if something's not working, I'm going to find out pretty quickly. But if you're sat at home in your dressing gown, eating a bowl of cereal and working, but you're performing, get on with it.
Exactly.
And what we found is our staff are getting up and working. This has nothing to do with me, but they're getting up and working from 6:37 in the morning. Whereas if you were dragging them into an office, they'd kick off at 8:39.
Exactly. You got to pick your clothes. You got to go to
traffic and all the rest of it. So you just get on with it. So for me, working at home, I would just do more.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was doing. And then because what I wanted to do is effectively break myself. Sounds mad. I know, and anyone that's listening, please don't feel you should do it. I'll put a health has a thing on here. But I want to break myself before I absolutely invested. Don't get me wrong, I was investing, but I needed to make sure that I'd given it my all. So because what I had created then was the right platform to then bring other people on. So rather than, because I went the opposite way from what a lot of people do, right, I've got a budget, I want a CEO, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I was like, no, I'm doing it all. I'm making sure I know every single part of this business that I've built before we start bringing people in. So what I did is get to that point where I effectively broke. I didn't break,
before
but you know what I mean?
Hired everybody.
Before, I mean, don't get me wrong, we had staff.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you look at the headcount that we had for 200 units, we were less than any other person in the market.
You were doing the pricing. You were doing
everything. I still do
the
pricing now.
Yeah. Oh, you do the pricing.
I do the pricing now. Still do the pricing now. Don't use software.
That's the hardest thing to outsource, isn't it? The pricing.
Yeah, because the thing is with software, what we find is how does it know what the view is? How does it know the quality of furnishing? All it's going to do is take the price of a 1-bedroom apartment in Marina in a radius of 500 meters or 1,000 meters. So that's the one thing that I haven't relinquished.
Yeah.
Because for us, we run at a 94% average occupancy. We deliver, we're striving, we're moving forward. In the last, let's say, 3-4 years, we've grown as a company approximately anything between 20 and 13% year on year, stock-wise, bounce. And the formula's working, but I enjoy it because that's telling me what the market's doing. That's telling me if a JLT studio is dropping in price, going up in price or whatever, then I know to make the right decisions for the company.
Exactly.
So it's something I don't want to let go, but...
Yeah. I'm actually trying to let go of it. I'm trying.
Are you?
I hired a guy that is like a super high-end pricing guy. He works for like a publicly listed company and does this on the side for me and like 2 other guys. So he only has 8 of my units now, and I'm like comparing his performance compared to mine. And if he's going to perform as good, then I'll just give him everything. I might still keep like 5 under my control, just like you said, just to keep, you know...
Keep yourself there.
Exactly, and just to make sure that he keeps his performance, you know. But a good thing that you talked about is the software. You know, I posted in my story the other day that I made some mistakes last New Year's, and he was like, "Where's Price Labs?" Like the software, and you know that's what a lot of people misunderstand. They think the software just takes over the pricing and just handles it. It's an AI that takes care of it. But like no, like the software you have to control it, but it's good to like automate and put systems in place and stuff like that. You guys use Price Labs? Do you?
Well, manual. I do it.
Oh, you do it?
I do it manually, so it takes about 2 hours of my day.
Yeah.
But it is that important to make sure that we're delivering. Now, the company that I have. Is that the best use of my time? My GM will definitely say no. You should not be doing it. But I'm saying, look, it's that important because the minute your pricing drops, your occupancy drops, questions start being raised, and then obviously it's detrimental to the business. Yeah. But for me, I love it because I'm right at the coalface to see what the market is doing, to know what my next move is with the company. Yeah. And if anything, I still enjoy being part of this company because so much has not been taken, but you know what I mean? When you grow to this size, we have lots of senior members of staff and the rest of it, and it just makes me feel important.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but I think we're looking towards software. I think we'll follow what you're talking about. Get someone in that is on it. The lovely thing is I feel I am. Yeah. So at least I know if I hand it to someone, it's on the right track. But look, we're zeroing on 1,000 units. How much longer can I do this for?
Yeah.
And is it a good use of my time? So look, we'll jump ship, but then you look at the software. But I've always questioned the software.
Yeah. It's what I find. It just helps me put automations in place, you know, and then I got to keep track of the automations. You know? Yeah. But what other softwares do you use? Do you use a PMS that like connects?
We just have. I mean, we were so. We were cavaliers, I think. Yeah. We didn't have a system. We purely exclusively used Airbnb right up till August of this year, where I've come completely off it. So we have come off Airbnb. We do not use them anymore. So we solely use them. So we were using effectively what their CRM system was. It is what any user would have. Now we've moved off it, and now we're going down a completely different path. We've jumped off and we're using Guesty.
Okay. Yeah,
Guesty, we're using Guesty. So good company.
A lot of people love Guesty. Yeah. I feel like most people use Guesty or Hostaway. People say Guesty is a lot of people say Guesty is like better, a little bit more expensive, but a little bit better than Hostaway, and that's what I use.
Well, it's $1 billion company now.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. I think they're 3 times larger than Hostaway. The numbers speak for themselves. So, because we've now gone on multiple platforms, we're now about to launch our own platform as well, stayshort.com, that's coming through. So we've had to move our software over, and they've been phenomenal with us and looking after us. Yes, it's a big account, but these guys are on it. You know, they're making it work. Guesty. And I believe they're doing a few great changes coming in the.
I bet they give you a lot of attention with that many units.
we were out and had a couple of beers, me and my GM, with the head of sales for MENA and Europe, and wonderful lad, really lovely guy, a guy called Robin. We don't get any discounts.
You don't get discounts?
That I know of. We don't get discounts. but they are attentive. And what I keep saying to them is, if you want to try anything, we're the guinea pigs. Let us help and support you. If we can build your data, your tech, give me some shares. But if you're thinking of doing something, talk to us. We want to talk to you. We want to help. There's a big old market out there, and it's moving at such a fast pace. And for me to work with a company like Guesty is brilliant. And we've just moved on. So 2 months in, 3 months in, and it's brilliant. It's doing what it's meant to be doing. It's automated a lot. When you get to the company size again that we are, you've got a lot of people. And when you have a centralized hub like that, where people can access information, things go out, it's brilliant. We've completely and utterly changed the way that we are paying clients now, how we're reporting into them.
Yeah, it probably helps you with the financing so much. Because a lot of what we're doing was manual, because it's how I built the company. Yeah.
And so I've completely redone the company, completely redone it in August. I've spent so far $400,000, and I'll probably double that by the end of this year on the new AirDXB 2.0, as we're calling it.
On what exactly?
Everything. So software alone of what's come in, employees. So we've increased our owner relations team, so the team that look after the owners, by 80% in the last month. We've got people from Uber now with us.
From Uber?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We've actually brought people from Uber who are client facing. So what we're now doing is going we're going after what I like to think some pretty talented people, because we've got to this point. It's like what I was just saying earlier. You get to the crossroads and you're like, do I keep pushing this or not? And it's like, what's 1,000? Let's do 2,000. nib. Oh, what's that? Let's do 5,000. When I was with my friends from Guesty, they've said there's 4 or 5 clients that have like 20, 30, 40,000 properties, but they're big conglomerates and they're this and this. But we're perceived as in the top 10 under that.
I was just about to ask, is there anyone in the world that has like more than 2,000?
According to them, there is. I mean, I didn't ask what the company's name or anything like that, but these are big conglomerates that have huge...
All over the world,
management portfolios. They're builders that build 20,000 homes a year and retain... You're talking big. Nothing like... It's not a property manager like me or AirDXB. Big. And then when you come down, the next stop down is us. We're one of 10, 15, 20 the biggest in the world. So the work with Guesty. So, but I want to take, because I got to a point of saying, especially because of what long term's doing, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got, right? And if we keep doing what we're doing, it's nice. But if long term keeps trickling up 2, 3, 4, 5% every quarter or half or whatever, our returns are diminishing. Why are owners coming to AirDXB? So what I'm said is, right, we have to move with the times. So we're spending a lot of money in getting we're restructuring a lot. So how we report to clients, the fact we've now come completely off Airbnb, we're now working with sites like Booking.com, how Guesty can enhance. So AirDXB as a service has definitely jumped, but now we're going down a lot of different channels on how we can make our clients more money. And Booking.com alone is making 21.2% more in rates for this coming high season than Airbnb did. Bang, boom, change 21% more into our clients' pockets. So I'm now having to spend, and when you get to a company of the size that we are, it's the sheer size of it that sucks your money up. Because if you look at our owner relations team, we've increased the heads by 80%.
Why? I understand. I can imagine why, but why do you think it's so important to increase the people talking to the owners? Keep
owners happy. Look, we're in a sensitive market now. This isn't me 2018 where Palm Views were renting for 40,000. I was making 100. It was AirDXB are gods amongst people.
I bet now there's so much questions from the owners. They need answers about this, that.
Bang. And also when you grow, the funny thing is when you get to this size, I don't know why, but when you start, if you take on 100 and you increase your staff overhead by a metric of 1%, for some reason, the bigger you get over that, you have to increase your staff account more. So let's say, keep numbers really simple. 100 properties, you have 10 members of staff. Another 100, you think is another 10, so that takes it to 20. It isn't, you'd actually go to 25.
How? Why?
Because it's like a snowball, certain effects that can happen. I'm still trying to find that out. I'm sure someone out there listening will say this is what it is in a business. But the bigger you get, it isn't a simple metric where when we grow, we add this. The company gets so much bigger, certain other things can happen. You're seeing a lot more guests coming through, you're seeing this and this. And our guest relations team now, I think, is about 15, 20 people, more actually. And if you look at what we had for, let's say, 100 properties, the metric still doesn't work. So you can lose yourself, or you can lose a lot of money, good money, but like I said, you're spending because the sheer size of the company requires it. But we're spending a lot, as I said, softwares and all these different things, our own booking platform now, all of this. There's a lot of money going into that.
Do you feel like owners still reach out to you for questions?
Well, yes. So I have like that core
Like your
group that have been with me.
and-
No. I mean, they are friends now, but they're the guys that effectively backed me when I launched this. I mean, I didn't know them, met them, performed for them. They're still with me six years later. It was our 6th birthday in September. They're brilliant. But you're finding, because we want the right people. I'd far rather spend 10 or 15% more on an average salary and get the right person in than try and undercut. That is not what AirDXB does. We do not do that. And that's why we're bringing in people from companies like Uber, Emirates and stuff to come in who are a very high level.
What do they do at Uber?
So you're looking at client-facing customer service, but this isn't talking to you about why a guest damaged your property. This is how you construct a whole operation to deal with what will be thousands of homeowners in a minute.
Yeah.
So you're having to think a whole new way now, and what you're doing is effectively creating a business within a business. So the logistical side of it. So although, like a salesman can sell anything, right? Doesn't matter on the product, it's his mental state of how he's going to sell it. What you're looking at now, let's say with home relations, beg your pardon, is we're now having to have a serious management team in there that look at the logistics of how you then look after 1,000 homeowners. What you then say to the homeowners, because there was a certain problem, we're training on that. But we're having to bring in some pretty talented people because we're growing to a point where, you know, and I can admit, you know, I don't have the answers. I've not done this before.
Yeah.
So you're bringing people that do.
I bet now that you're at this size, you need to put people in charge of certain things, and you just have to trust them. And they bring reports to you, and you just have to help them change or improve. But you have to trust them to run that department.
100%, and
right?
I do. And there's an unspoken rule hung above our door at our office. If you have to micromanage, you don't belong with us. I do not micromanage people.
Say it again. Oh yeah.
If I have to micromanage, you do not belong at AirDXB.
Exactly.
We empower people. You do your job. If you can't, we find someone else that can.
Yeah.
We don't. I'm not going to sit down. What are you doing? What did you do? Where were you doing this? No, I've got no. One, I'm too busy. But two, I'm paying you to help me. I'm paying you to take this burden away from me. So why am I trying to get involved in it?
Interesting. So let me ask you one question. A lot of companies, a lot of people I talk to are at 100 to 150 units. You see a lot of companies get stuck there. This is just my observation, because so many companies have that number, but very few go to 200 or above. Why do you think that is?
Why they get stuck? I think because
maybe they're not stuck. That's just where they decide to not expand more. Something happens where so many companies are at these numbers.
Are they trying to expand, or do they just switch off mentally? Do you think?
So I haven't gone deep into asking these questions, but I just see so many companies at that mark, and I wonder, is it maybe because they micromanage too much and they can't delegate to be able to focus on expanding more?
Could be that. You could freak out by saying, I've got this big, there's that many moving parts, it requires more money. Reputations could be damaged because you've got more guests giving 1-star reviews because this happened or that happened. You could find exactly that person mentally can't adjust. And this is such a taxing job that we are in.
Yeah.
And I've always been of that opinion, always. I mean, I've had teams that worked for me at previous companies. I've always had the same thing. If I have to micromanage you, you don't belong here. So when I was bringing people in, you're empowered and go. You're going to make a mistake, but just don't make that mistake again.
Just learn from it.
Just learn from it. If you don't learn from it, then again, you don't belong here. So yes, it could be that. It could be that these people just get too stuck into it because, again, you've been in it. You know, it's an emotional business. There's a lot of emotions of these people that can be shouting quite loudly, and an owner could easily be sucked into, oh, what happened? Oh, he's walked in his bed sheets and stayed. Oh, right, again, you've got 3 people trying to work the issue out, spending 2 hours doing it. We don't do that. Bang, go, gamma, move. It's a well-oiled machine. Keep going. But I don't know. Maybe people get to the point, or maybe people get to the point like I did. But I get to 200, that's me, and I'm done. You know, I don't know. But for us, it was always wanting more. But if I can see a way to take on more, or see a way through the market, I'll keep going like I am now. I know I can see a way, and it's already paying off. We're already making more money, and a lot more money. We just did a booking for a 290 square foot studio in JVC for 34,000 dirhams for 3 months.
One booking, 34,000 dirhams for 3 months in JVC.
JVC a studio, 300 square foot.
Yeah, like a low end area kind of.
Yeah. I mean, crazy money. It's 71,000 dirham booking for a 2-bedder in the Dress JBR for 4 weeks. That's a lot of money. We weren't doing this at Airbnb, you know. So I can see ways that we can get through it, but I think when you got to grow as well, I mean, we've just done a brand new website. We've put up now, and you look at our website compared to our competitors, they're talking about toilet rolls and bed sheets, the rest of it. Ours is all about why you should short let. Here's the numbers. Here is what the short let market is in comparison to other major cities around the world. We have our research reports coming out quarterly. We've got a great one that comes out next week, actually. Always talking about what the rest of the market is doing.
I like your Instagram. You provide a lot of like valuable information there, like data, stats.
I love stats.
I love that. Yeah. Check out AirDXB on Instagram. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But okay, so how do you keep your staff motivated? Because obviously that's the big part of your business now. Your staff.
Well, I bought everyone a lot of donuts on Friday afternoons.
So the donuts keep them motivated.
Donuts keep them coming.
Okay.
Empowerment. So what you find, especially in Dubai, is Dubai, and I've worked with it, I've seen it, there's a lot of bosses that have to scrutinize and have to micromanage. It goes on to the point we were just making. We don't. And we tell the staff, we tell them what I've just told you. You're empowered. If you need us, I'm here to support, but I'm not here to do your job. We're finding then the cream is rising to the top. We've got people now coming to us saying, I want a part of that, because when I'm working for this company or in this situation, I'm not empowered to do it. So and I genuinely mean that the staff we have are phenomenal. I mean, great people. And they support the brand, the company a lot. And I've never asked them to, but what they do is great. But look, monetary wise, of course, but I think it's because we listen. And I'm not just saying this, I know everyone else, you'll hear it, and I'm a great boss because I listen to people, but it isn't. We listen. You're empowered. If you want to make that decision, make the decision. Who am I to tell you that's right or wrong? I've not run a company with almost 1,000 properties.
Yeah,
I'm mavericking this myself. I've never done this before. If someone has sat doing that 8, 10, 12 hours a day for the last 6 weeks and they've come up with a better solution for it, who am I to question it? Exactly. Logic will kick in for me to read it and say, yeah, okay, but get on with it.
Yeah.
And so what you're finding is these teams are, right, okay, let's do this, let's do it. And they've made it their own. Yeah. And it's brilliant. And I think that's what it is, empowerment of these people, of staff and people and the rest of it. And the buy-in you get back, but it isn't necessarily the buy-in, it's the fact that they help and support me to make it a better company. They give me time to say, right, how do we get to the 1,000 property mark?
There's this guy on Instagram, Dan Martell. He's like a business coach kind of thing. He's so good, and he talks about there's like 3 levels of business people. One is like people that can't delegate anything, and they're gonna get stuck at some part of revenue. And then there's the next level, the guy that can hire people, but he has to like control everybody, and he can get to a certain amount of revenue.
Yeah.
And then the guy that can actually expand like crazy is the guy that can put people in place and just trust them, like work through, like, I don't know how he calls it, work through people or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like to think I'm the latter.
You sound like the latter.
Yeah, I like to think I'm a latter, but how I can't, and I get very frustrated. If I've got a micromanager to do someone else's job, why am I paying you? Why are you
exactly?
Here?
Why are you just going to do it yourself?
This is it. And the lovely thing is, if you give these staff members a platform to make a decision themselves, and it's right, for my headspace, it's phenomenal. Okay. You know what you're doing. You're engaged. You're moving forward. You're thinking of the business. You're thinking logically. Keep going. Go now. Move. You know, we've renewed some very, very, very big parts of owner relations. We brought in these heavy hitters. I've been there to give a bit of logic, but I've backed off and said, you go. That's what I'm paying you to do.
Yeah, I love it.
And they love it. They're like, brilliant, this is mine. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And when it pays off, you know, that encourages that person to push harder themselves.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, because they know they got responsibility. Their decisions matter. Their decisions are actually, there's nothing worse than working for a company and like the decisions you make or what you want to do just like doesn't matter, you know?
Exactly. And you're told to shut up, do what you're doing. You're just a number. Here's your money. Go home each day.
That's terrible.
And it's brilliant. And these guys as well, they know that I'm behind them. And Dubai, sadly, you know, there's a lot of micromanagement. And so when they come in here, they're being put on a pedestal and told, yeah, you do know. You are right. Go for it.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to hear a little bit about how the operations work, because there's people do it a different way, especially from what I do. So when a guest is checking in, who does he communicate with?
Our guest relations team.
Are they in Dubai?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything we have is on soil here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there somebody that meets the guest for the check-in, or is it?
Depends on the guest situation. So the guest may say to us, don't want to see anyone, I just want to check in and get on with it. And that's fine. They can collect a key from us, or we have a certain process for that. Or if, look, I really want someone to meet me because they want to know how the washing machine works or something, then someone goes. Again, it's empowerment again, we empower the guest. What do you want? We're listening to you. You're the one paying the money. You tell us what you want and we'll make sure it's so.
Interesting. So
is the guest communication team, is there just people on shift and they handle communication for everything? Or is there different teams that handle different areas?
No. So you have, again, great question. And I couldn't tell you hand on heart how it's run because the team's empowered to build it.
Yeah.
Right? So you get to that point. But there's a team of, and as I'm saying, I think, because we're always recruiting, there's 15, 20 people in the guest relations team on a shift all the way through the night. So it's 24 hour.
Yeah.
Right? And that they then will hand over certain situations to other parts of the team, but it's a well-oiled machine. I mean, that team has been with me now for 4 or 5 years, or 3-4 years, I should say. So these guys, we've built these processes, we built it, but what they will do is they're a solid team, as I said, 15, 20 of them, and they work as a unit. It is not split out. Now, yes, they may have one person that does one thing over here, but no, because what we're running at now is 70, 80 check-ins a day, and that will hit north of 100. That will go over 100 probably next week or the week after.
check-ins a day. Like, just imagine the scale and the moving parts.
Scares me.
It's insane.
It scares me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great news, 109 check-ins today. I'm like, oh my God, right? And you've got between, from 3 p.m. onwards, straight through. So there's a lot of moving parts with that, but I've never put that process together because I didn't have, the units we have on now. This team has, but it does humble me a lot when it scares me. When I'm like, geez, man, this company's moving
scary,
now, isn't it?
But the thing is, so I'm at like 10 to 20 check-ins a day, but even that is crazy.
Yeah.
Even that is crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you just build up gradually, you just learn how to adapt to the more role, and even if you got 700 units, you've done that over 6 years. So it's a relatively slow growth. Like you've had a week, to adapt to, the load, and you just figure it out, and somehow you're where you're at.
You are where you're at. I mean, we are at the moment. We actually track 20 companies, 20 competitors, and we're the only company that's grown. A lot of people have dropped off.
Yeah,
and we're growing. What we're growing 30 to 40 properties month on month.
So you feel like a lot of companies are going down.
100%.
Why? Is it because of the market dynamics?
Long term. Because as I said, the passion and and I'm not putting anyone down or anything. I'll make that clear. But the passion and the fight that I have, and because I've been doing this for so long, we are hitting this hard. And I feel there's other companies, because it's a bolt-on, and they're not perhaps as G'd up. But you've got to bear in mind, if that owner wants to go and do long-term or selling, the real estate brokerage will take that, so they'll make their commission that way. So for them, it's a win-win. Whether you're a short let or come back to us for long term, we don't care as long as you stay with us. So you're seeing quite a few companies drop off, and it's going to happen. There will be another crash. Of course there is. When that is, I don't know. I thought it would have happened by now if it was going to, and it hasn't. So this market's crazy, but it's going to happen at some point.
What do you mean? What's going to happen? What's the crash?
Well, there has to. Property prices are crash. It happens. As you look over the years and the decades across everything.
Last crash happened like 10 years ago.
Well, here was 2008 was the big one. Massive one, but here property prices here were dropping for no reason from 2016 right up to COVID. There was no interest in Dubai. Dubai needs ignition. Dubai needs something to happen, just like what happened with COVID. I mean, who thought Dubai would have bounced out of COVID the way it did?
And then the Russian war.
There's all these things that happen that just ignite Dubai, and Dubai is one of these that, you look at the West is crumbling. I mean, look at what's going on in the economy and the rest of it. Everyone's coming here for a better way of life. When the rest of the world seems to wobble, this place just sticks out.
But this place is awesome, isn't it? I couldn't imagine living in Iceland back now, and I bet the UK is the same. Man.
You say this, but I was back there for summer, and I've just had my first child, 7 months. My wife is pregnant again. You're sat in the green, you're sat near the beach, and I was like, I like this. Yeah. But the minute it's November and it's dark by 4 p.m. and it's raining consecutively for 18 days, I want to be here. But I'm English, I love my home, but then when you come here, you think, oh, yeah.
What I love the most is just everything is in the same spot. I live in this bubble. My house is connected to a mall. I have the gym, I have the pool, I have the sauna, I have my deliveries. My barber comes to my house. It's just, I just automate my life. I just love it so much.
And no one can offer that.
Yeah.
Nowhere can offer it. And when you look at what's going on with this market, you've got an influx of population. The population's going up. The housing isn't there to support it. Why are prices going to drop? Now, we obviously know there's a lot of unrest in the region, and that doesn't seem to be going away. That seems to be getting worse.
Does that scare you?
I've got an eye on that, yeah. Scared me when it first kicked off a lot. I own property in Dubai, an amount, and I was seriously thinking about getting rid of it because I was, hang on.
When? Just now?
Israel and Palsson, Gaza.
About,
so that would have been a year ago, wouldn't it?
Oh, so you thought about it just a year ago?
Well, a year ago, when it's all started going, you're thinking, well, hang on, because of the level of what had happened September last year with Israel, girls and the rest of it, and an escalation.
So this
of it.
is a big point for me because obviously I'm investing so much when I'm subleasing apartments. So I think about this, like say just the worst case scenario, there's like a US is involved, Iran is involved, there's an all-out war. How much would that affect Dubai?
A lot.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I think because you're in the Middle East, a lot of people. If you talk about tourists, Middle East, I'm not going there.
Tourists would scared.
Even though Beirut is, I think it's close, or if not, it's almost on point, as close to England as it is to Dubai. It's 4 hours.
Is it?
Yeah. So a lot of people go, oh, Dubai, and I'm like, hang on. Right?
It's just as close.
It's
to
just
you.
as close. And then of course it was a week ago. Flight plans were certain planes were diverted off course, weren't they, for 48 hours. There was a bit of a tremor there. A lot of people saying, what do you think is going to happen? I said, well, sadly, this has been going on for a while. This is part of it. So I'm a lot more relaxed with all of this. However, there is obviously a lot of tension with Iran and all these sorts of things. And if something does start going very bad, then the Middle East, whether that's Saudi, you've got to remember Saudi, UAE, very close relations.
But it might affect like the tourists coming from the UK and America and stuff, maybe Australia and stuff. But it's not going to affect the people coming from Saudi and.
No, but our biggest market is, blew me away. Q3 of this year will come out in our report. Second biggest market we have now is America.
No way.
Yeah, 28% of our guests, I think, 28% of our guests, UK in Q3, followed by 13% was the States. It's been on my radar now for 3.5 years. This is why I've completely changed AirDXB, and I'm not going to tell you everything because we've got big ideas and very big partnerships coming, massive ones. But
like what?
I'm just kidding. I'm waiting. When I get the contract, I'll tell you. Right. I'll probably tell you off camera. Okay. And the American market is huge. Now, if you look at how many routes Emirates is flying into any country around the world, America has the most. Emirates has introduced a credit card into America. There's all of these things. They're trying to get to the American market because the American market is massive. The amount of Americans coming in here to party, even though they've got the Vegases and all the rest of it, it's off the chart.
Because I don't see many Americans.
We've got a lot of them coming through. Now you could argue, is it because your stock can appeal to it? Our stock's very universal. Brits is always a big clientele. I mean, our biggest have been Russia when the war happened, but then you have French, British, Americans, of course, Saudi, France. And then you might have Germany's and all the rest of it goes down. That's our top 5 big ones. Saudi fluctuates, depends on the season, depends what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Brits are always going to be there, but the Americans have just come out of nowhere. But I've been tracking this when I say out of nowhere, I've been tracking this for 2-3 years, but coming just bit by bit, plodding up. And for Q3, for Americans to be second, I did not see that coming. So it's a big market. And so if those guys, and they are eyeing this up, and this brings me into the big one, and this is why I've done this huge restructure at AirDXB. Gaming is coming. Gaming. Oh, you can't call it the other word that begins with G, can you? Gaming licenses, like the Win is here, MGM are coming. But we're calling it gaming in Dubai.
Okay, now I got
We're not using the other word.
Okay.
Calling it gaming. Win have just been granted a license last week. I don't know if you saw this.
Say it again.
The Win Hotel have a license now for gaming in RAC. They've been given it. This place is going to explode off the chart. Right?
Where is it exactly?
Win is being built in RAC.
It's like the way to Sharjah, right?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Got beyond that. Sharjah's first. The RAC's there. MGM, the CEO, has been quite vocal. But it's all in the press. That's why we're talking about it, obviously. He has gone in for a license for gaming in Abu Dhabi.
No way.
Yeah,
that's going to blow up Abu Dhabi.
2 weeks ago. And then you've now got Dubai. Now, what I've always thought is that it's coming and it's here. It's already here. But I think there was probably an agreement, and this is pure speculation, I'll make that very clear, that RAC obviously had nothing. They've been given time to build and sell stock. Then it's going to go to Abu Dhabi. MGM's just happened. And last of all is going to be Dubai, because Dubai has a lot of infrastructure.
Yeah.
So it's coming. There's
that's going to bring in the Chinese, right?
It's America's market. That's why I'm talking about it now. So the Chinese will come because of Macau. You look at the Americans. Now I'm doing some big reports, but you're seeing this one that's coming out. We're touching on it, but this big report's coming out. There are 40 million visitors to Vegas a year. Here's 17.
That's 40 million to Vegas.
40 million to 17 and a half here.
So there's double the tourists in Vegas? Really?
Yeah. It's all there to see. This is me making it up. It'll be on our reports. You think how big that market is. And that's why this place wants to open it. Now, if you read our reports, it's like a $4 or $5 billion sector. But if they can get up to the size of Vegas, you think how much money is coming through this door. Now, if you look at the European, Russian, Chinese, and look at the American markets going up, connect those dots, and now gaming is now a license has been granted. You've got the Win. The Win gaming, I'm using that word again, floor is twice as large as the gaming floor in Vegas Win.
In the new hotel.
In the new hotel, where you can have all the machines and all of that.
Double the size.
Double the size. These guys aren't messing around. This is going to be the place. This is why I've done a big restructure. This is why I'm getting stuck in.
I kind of like gaming too. I might go there a couple times.
I like Vegas. In fact, I was there this time last year for the F1. Big F1 fan. But I'm not into the gaming myself, but I'm definitely into what it will bring. You know, from property. And you look at what we're involved in. This is happening. This is happening. And when it's going to launch here, who knows?
When is it going to start?
I don't know. Well, we're in a building. I think they are 15 or 16 stories up on the tower over for the Win. MGM. All they've done is applied for a license. As far as I know, there isn't an actual place or this. They're saying this is where we're going to have the MGM. And in Dubai, nothing's been said. It may not, but I'll be very surprised. There's no way RAC is going to have gaming and Dubai is just going to look to one side. And now MGM applying for a license in Abu Dhabi, I think you'll find Dubai will probably...
Do you have anything in Abu Dhabi?
No, we haven't gone into that market. I spoke earlier, simplify, keep your principles. We are moving forward in the Dubai market. Why take my eye off that ball?
Yeah, there's enough for you to do in Dubai.
There's enough. We were offered quite a handsome amount of money. We were offered about $25-30 million to go global and open up more offices, but I said no, thank you, but no, thank you. Let's crack on with Dubai. Let's get that right. You know, you don't want to be pulled apart into different cities around the world. And of course, you know, that short-let market around the world, especially the West, is only shrinking, given all the legislation, All
right, well, so what does your day look like? What do you focus on the most?
It's ever changing, but I'm loving it even more because we're going to the size we have. I'm pulled into different parts of the business or different meetings to discuss lots and lots of different things. But logistic side is firmly handed over to our GM. He deals with all of that. I'm pulled in if it's sanity checks or, you know, Greg, you've done this before. This is what we're proposing. What do you think? I'm doing a lot of building the business. So working with the marketing team, research reports. I'm very, very data driven. There's no one in the market chugging out data we are about short-lets. That's from me. That's how I function. Our reports are getting thicker, beefier, a lot more written in there. You'll see the one that's coming out next week. So from my perspective, it's about reinforcing this business. You go onto our website now. I've never seen this in the short-let world globally. What our website now looks at, have a look. It's all looking at data and comparing tourism to different cities around the world. We're selling the concept of short-let to an investor on our website now, not selling that we're going to restock house. Everyone knows that. That's a given. So I'm driving the company, for me, in a different direction, more data-driven, institutional. That's the way we're going. We have multidisciplines. We have interiors team. We have brokerage arm. We have all these different parts now.
Okay.
So we are now becoming almost, I hate terminology, but like a one-stop shop. But we are really moving, and our advisory work and all of this is really moving on. Now, certain things that are happening, which I can't talk about yet, but we're so my day is now how we're moving this business forward.
And then research and
research, you know, everyone's going down that route. Why aren't we? This is why we aren't on Airbnb anymore. We don't want to do what everyone else has done. I did a very, very, very simple analytical report from the 1st to the 8th of October. There are over 1,500 available units on Airbnb for the first week. Booking.com, there are 623.
So, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Why not be also on Airbnb, but just mark up the price like a lot?
It was a big decision. So it goes back to when I was saying we completely restructured the company. We did it over low season because it's least impactful to our clients. We have frustrated a few clients. I'll put my hands up, but we are not a very big company, but we're growing. If I don't make the changes now in anticipation for things like gaming, anticipation for partnerships that we have coming, this is going to be very, very difficult. So I spent a month restructuring everything. We lost about 4% of our portfolio because some owners said, I'm not happy. But I said, I get that. Here's your keys and on you go. But we are such a better company now. When you look at what we are now, what we're offering. When we were on Airbnb, we had problems. What we were finding is that we weren't having damages refunded. And so when we grow to the level that we are, that then becomes a very, very big figure. We found that Airbnb was very guest-centric. We found that everybody uses Airbnb. We found we were being dictated to. And we're getting to the point of saying, we don't want this anymore. This just isn't for us. If that's your business, that's great. We move over to Booking.com. That is a commercial machine. There's your booking. There's the owner, host. There's the guest. Any problems, please go and sort it out. Airbnb just pounce and jump into it. So we had a lot of frustrations, but then one case, but this is what tipped me over the edge. One apartment, for some reason, a guest decided to play with the sprinkler, rip it out, flooded the apartment. Police were called because, of course, it's a civil defence thing. You can't do that. It's illegal. Airbnb told me that this is what had happened. Airbnb then decided to refund the guest their entire stay. It's a month's stay. They'd already been in for 2 weeks, refunded it all. Said to me, when blocked your calendar, we're not going to reopen it. And then when I said, okay, how are you going to refund? What are you going to do? And they said, we don't think this is a legitimate claim. And I said, but you're the ones that just told me this had happened. I can't do this.
Airbnb is savage. They really are. They're
savage. And I've got to look my owners in the eye and say, I'm protecting you.
Yeah.
No, we're off. So we now take our own deposits. We're now in control. And the big thing is here as well, as I was looking at rates, is Airbnb is a saturated market. And what a lot of our owners are behind us. 97% are behind us, 3%, as I said, we're party company, but if you say you have to be on Airbnb, I said, that's exactly why I'm not, because everyone thinks you have to be. And that simple thing I just said to you, from the first week of October, there were 3 times as many properties on Airbnb than was Booking.com. It's saturated. No, you don't have to be on there. But look, I'm doing what I think is right, and the figures already, 21.2% higher rates are being achieved on Booking.com versus Airbnb for this coming high season. So I'm going down that way. So Maverick is a bold move, and I get that. But at the end of the day, I'm here to do 2 things: make my clients money and protect their asset. And if I can make more money on another platform, and if I have to protect their asset by coming off a platform that isn't going to refund when a guest has obviously broken or damaged things, I'm not doing it. That's not what we do. And if homeowners don't want that, that's quite understandable. So we walked away. So we're off. I mean, big move. I mean, our friends at Guesty were pretty shocked at that one, that's for sure. But
what about direct bookings? Do you push that?
Yeah, we do. We are now because we want control. That's what we want. So we're moving into that sector heavily. So we've got a platform, stayshort.com. A lot of our stock's going on it. We're inviting other hosts as well to work with us on that. There's a big market in the Middle East, Saudi and things like that. Should platforms like Airbnb have that share?
Yeah,
I don't think they should.
I'm getting very excited now about. I've never done. To this day, I've not have a single direct booking ever. Okay,
really?
Yeah, but because I haven't focused on it. But now I'm getting super into it. Like, because I'm gonna order this. There's this software that you order that when guests log into the Wi-Fi, all of them have to put their email.
Yes,
and then you collect the email of all the guests that come to your apartments, and obviously that's going to be tens and thousands of emails.
Yeah,
and then you do email marketing, which is like you can automate. And then you try to collect direct bookings from there. And then that compounds, you're going to get guests that are going to come to your apartment again and again and again if they like you. And then over the years, that's going to compound. So I'm getting very excited about that.
Do it. And you're in control. You haven't got to answer to someone who's in America
or
who is not aware of a situation.
Or in the Philippines, which is like, just started 3 months ago, and they have the power to suspend your account.
To suspend your account. And this, I've heard about this call centers in the Philippines. Yeah. So that again frustrated me, because we were giving hard proof this is a problem, but who are you to say that it isn't? Airbnb is a guest-centric platform. That's their business model. That's great. I'm not. I'm looking after our hosts. So I'm with you. But when you look at these direct bookings, what we're finding is that the money that is then not. This is the big one here as well. This is the huge one, and this is what really helped you. It depends what package you're on, but let's keep numbers simple. You're paying a booking platform 20%, right, out of your booking. You get direct bookings, that's in your pocket. That's a lot. Yeah. We're representing owners. So that 20% is going on their top line. We'll take our commission out of that, but it means we've just earned our owners an additional 20%. I'm here to protect the clients. I want to make them more money. So why are we giving these platforms all this money when all we're doing is finding them very frustrating? And actually, what we do is look at the figures. How many bookings are actually made outside of the major platforms like Airbnb are far more than Airbnb. Airbnb bookings, look at their stock shares, stock price, it dropped 15-20% 4 or 5 weeks ago, didn't it? I wonder why. Don't know, but one to watch. So Booking.com is swallowing up that market. And I know that from some good people who have given me some information. They are taking chunks out of that Airbnb market because a lot of people have the same frustrations I do. Yeah. So it's interesting, but you get your own bookings, it's more money in your pocket.
Yeah, it's something it's completely foreign to me, but I've just been recently getting very excited about it.
Yeah, but you enjoy it.
Yeah, I think some people say the magic is in the work you're avoiding, and I feel like that's the work I've been avoiding.
I love it because I'm seeing it as a challenge. So you ask me what my day is. This is part of what I'm doing, driving the business forward. Is how do we now get more direct bookings? Because we want to make our clients more money, but we also want the control. But then it's like, oh God, this is a good challenge, isn't it? Yeah. And it's things like what you were saying, things like the Wi-Fi passwords and things like that. But we're creating our own platforms and doing whatever we're doing with those to get it out there. But I love that. And this is what I love about this industry as well. There's always something else to get your teeth into. It's not flat, is it? No day's ever the same. It's good fun. So as I said, apart from all of that, you're going to make a lot more money because you're not losing your money to these booking platform channels, are you?
Yeah, but let's hope it works.
Yeah, it will.
Would you ever sell your company?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah. Answered that quickly, didn't I?
What would that look like? I mean, because you could sell it for millions.
Yeah, because it's mine. People have spoken to me about it. We've been approached. I'm not done with it yet. Mm-hmm. And because I can see more.
Yeah, you can improve things.
I can improve. Yeah. Just by becoming more self-sufficient and off these booking platforms, the value increase on your company.
Yeah.
So when you go to a company or VCs or whatever and say, look, I want to sell this, your valuation's gone up by 20% because I'm making these numbers up, right? Mm-hmm. But let's say your valuation's gone up 20% because 50% of your bookings is now direct because you're demonstrating that you're not having to lean on these platforms. That's got my interest in it. I'm 41, right? I've got a lot more time in the tank. I've got a lot more things that I want to do with it. Yes, there is a number. I don't think anyone that would say there isn't on their own firm would be lying. If someone offers it, then probably yeah. Because that's why I've done this. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't done this to do it when I'm 90 years old. Yeah. It's to form something, build the best it can, and if someone sees that and wants to. Take it over and go for it.
How does it usually work when companies are sold? Because this is also kind of foreign to me. Is it usually like the profit you make for a year, they offer like 4 or 5x that or something?
I've been told several different methods for what I do. So the short-let world, companies were effectively taking that, your profit, and they were 7xing what we were doing. Mm-hmm.
So 7x is a multiple.
7xing is where I was. Now, if you put on additional bolt-ons, so you can have your own interior firm. So, I mean, our interior firm's done over 500 projects now.
I bet
that's a self-sufficient business.
Yeah, I actually bet your interiors. That's the thing. Like when I make content, a lot people get just so in love with my business, and I'm like, dude, just start a furnishing company or cleaning company, whatever. You're gonna make the same amount of money. You don't have to do Airbnb. Like
it's a lot less headache.
And I see these companies that work with me. They make so much money too. Yeah. Everybody that's really good at something makes a lot of money in Dubai.
This is it. And we've got, because we're furnishing for our clients, but what we found is people have now come to us, whether it's clients saying, can you do my own home? But I've seen a general desire for our style. That's great. I love it. I don't know why people do for people's personal homes. So we've now, we had our best ever week last week for our renovations company, for renovations. So what we will do is we can renovate and furnish, but because we now have so many properties that we've done, clients can say, can I have one of those, please? And so we're not what we've had now.
Catalog.
It's effectively a catalogue. So what we've had now is people say, can you renovate my villa? Can you put in a swimming pool? So I thought, well, this is interesting. So we've got now a renovation company with 20, 30, 40 people in it.
Let's talk about this a little bit. So do you do a lot for end users too?
We are now.
Okay.
So this is the way we're going down. Now, it's our core business is AirDXB in the management, and it's not something I'm pushing hard at the moment, but we have a business which is fully booked up to be doing this, and we haven't really flicked the button on marketing yet. So there's a demand for it. But now, because we're working with thousands and thousands of homeowners, a lot of them say, wow, I like what you've done here. Can you come and do it on my own? Yeah. Or my friend saw that. He doesn't want to do anything with short-term rental. Can you go and do it for that?
So I've thought about creating a furnishing company because obviously I've got a big audience. I could easily push that, but I struggle with my time, and my focus and my energy. So how do you, how many people work for your furnishing company? Do you think?
I'm gonna have to think about that one because designers, I think we're 6.
And then there's like a CEO of that part, or
yeah, you have someone running that,
and he can operate pretty much everything. She.
Okay. So about 60% of our employees at AirDXB are female. Which is interesting, yeah. We'll tell that one. So on the interior side, we have she. There's 5 interiors below, designers below her. They've then got a team, I think of about 10 or 15 logistics, but the logistics will include maintenance, will pick up and delivery, blah 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 blah.
And obviously, you didn't hire these people. She just hired all of them.
I've built it, brought her in. She then taken it on, run with it. Goes back to what I was saying. You're empowering people. You can't do it all, which is what you're saying. Got to get the right people in to then take it off.
It's awesome how you've done this. How you build all of these different things, and you got a real estate agency too, and a cleaning company. And does your cleaning company clean for other homes as well?
No, because that's a very, very sensitive business, and that has a lot of time needs to be spent on it. A lot of people out there don't like standards of cleaning and the rest of it. it's very labor intensive, and that's coming from a man that's running a short let business, right? We have, I mean, our cleaning team's big, very big. I mean, you're doing 100 check-ins a day, so you're cleaning 100 apartments, blah, blah, blah.
And you don't want to distract your own team.
Just not to say that, don't, because we have such a well-oiled machine. We've made some huge changes, still ironing up the wrinkles there, but do I need to deviate? No. And then you start saying, well, hang on, how many more properties do you want to clean a day? You're cleaning 100. Right, that's a business in itself. That's a huge business. How many cleaning businesses out there would just want that contract alone?
Yeah,
massive. So actually, when you look at this, so this is what I've done with the business is effectively set up businesses within businesses. So you put your boss at the top, and then that drops down. But some of these businesses within businesses have their own P&Ls.
Yeah.
Even though they're in the AirDXB thing, so things like the cleaning or the rest of it, how does that work? We're at that tipping point now, which I think I said on this podcast. We're not institutional, but I'm thinking more that way now.
What do you mean institutional?
Institutional, that your structure of your business is based on P&Ls within. Yeah, I hate that, and I want everyone to work how they want to work or dress how they want to dress. But how we're now running the business, when you talk about over 100 check-ins a day, thousands of clients, hundreds of thousand guests coming through our properties a year, the business now has to be thought out. It goes back to what I was saying about our own relations team. We've got some very talented people that come in, and it's not necessarily talking to the client, it's how you structure that department. And because for us, 1,000 isn't enough properties. We want 2, we want 3, we want 4, we want 5. And again, what we were talking about in this podcast, if things like gaming come, so we're structuring. So when you look at the business within the business and how things like the cleaning set up, I don't put any more pressure on it. 100 cleans a day, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, they've got a very short window to do it as well. So
that's
all hands to the deck. So the interiors, though, we have moved out. So things like renovations and things like that have happened. But people like it. I mean, our style of product is very new. It's very modern. We deviate when certain clients want it. But the talent that we now have with these designers, they're really enjoying it. And then what we've done has been reactive to demand. So that's the other thing that I don't do. I do not go, right, I'm going to set up this company. I'm going to put all my time into it. The company has already formed itself because of demand. So this interior thing has just grown because of the property bought for management. Once it's got to a point and it's bringing in its own level of money, you can then go, okay, let's put a strategy to it. Let's put a marketing team behind it, and away you go.
Awesome.
That's how we do it.
So you've obviously hired so many employees, and that's something that I've done some of, but I need to increasingly do more of. So I'm interested in how have you found the best way to find good employees in Dubai?
It's tough.
Because you post on Indeed and stuff. Do you do that? Or?
I honestly don't know.
Oh yeah, you don't do it anymore.
Don't know. Yeah, we don't. We have our own internal recruitment team.
Oh,
yeah. So we have our own recruitment team. That's how big we are now. So I think we've got four recruiters across the group now for different parts of the business.
But before, 2-3 years ago, when you were employing people,
so we outsourced a lot of business, and there were 2, 3, 4 members, and we're going back 5, 6 years. Well, when I first set it up, but year 1 is when I ran the business on my own for the first year. And then had my own member of staff on my license, I think 18 months in, something like that. Everything was outsourced because I was worried about P&Ls and the rest of it. What I wanted was to outsource cleaning. So if something did go wrong, you just switch it off. But if you bring in employees, you've got all of that comes with it. So you can't. So we worked with some companies, and these people were very good, and they wanted to follow me. That was fine.
You just stole them.
Didn't steal them. Do you see how I worded that? I didn't say that. I said, okay, I'm growing, I'm going this direction. I said, well, can we come? And I said, that's up to you. It's fine. That was their decision, and we leave it at that. But then what has happened is that we've again, you have to work so long at this and build the foundation. If you put, which they all are, staff on the pedestal, supported, I'm behind you, you're not micromanaged, they'll tell their friends. They'll tell this person. They'll tell former colleagues.
Come work here. It's nice. It's
a lot of our business is referral. Owners as well, and employees. So it's come in here. This is what we can do. So yeah, we've had people join us from other companies. Yeah, we've taken people that have never done it before and built that. But what we do, what is quite nice now, is we're finding a lot more people knock on our door. But I think our main source, if I'm correct, you'll find things like LinkedIn, just approaching people directly. Hi, we've seen you've done this. Would you be interested to meet us? This is who we are. Come on, have a chat. So we're brilliant. I think we've only had 9 staff leave in 6 years. That's it.
That's crazy.
So our retention is 99.something%. Yeah, it's massive. So it's good. It's all about getting the right people in.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just finding them.
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah. So if you would sell the company, what would you do in life?
I'll go to bed and have a sleep for a while. I'll do that. And I must say, this last couple of months, overly challenging because of all the change we had in the company. But I'll go and sleep for a while. I'm involved in real estate. I'm involved in investments. I'll continue that going.
Yeah.
Would I jump straight back into this? You probably wouldn't be allowed due to contractual obligations. I would fight to still be on the board as an advisor or something because it's my baby.
Yeah.
You know, I formulated this. I had $30,000 US dollars to my name and a laptop in a studio, and this is where we are 6 years later. It's a part of me. It really is, and I need it. You know,
wouldn't the buyers always want you on the board as an advisor?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, you'd think whatever's happened with AirDXB and however people perceive it, obviously I've seen some things. So perhaps they would want me, in my opinion, but I'm not going to be arrogant enough to say, well, yeah, of course they will. Look at me. I would never do that. But, you know, I would like it. But I'm 41. You know, if I sold the company tomorrow, there's still a few years left in front of me. But from my perspective, what would I do? It's a really, 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 really good question. I think for me, it'd probably be involved in buying and selling property, but first property I ever bought I was 17. Still got it now, but I buy and flip and always have done. So I love that. Do you have
quite a substantial portfolio right now?
I have some properties
Yeah.
in the UK and here. So, but yeah, it's something which is true to my heart. My father was in property as well, so we were guided, and he didn't have much money, and he bought and flipped, and you know it's come down as it is, that sort of knowledge from your father, isn't it? So for me, I think that would be it. I mean, I'd have to consult my wife and say, well, you know, what do you want to do? And I know that she'd say to me, you're not doing anything for 6 months. Go to bed, sit down, and relax.
So your wife's from the UK, or
yeah, UK. Yeah. So she's been out here same sort of time I have, but we didn't come together. We met here.
You met here?
Yeah, I met here.
How did you meet?
COVID. On those times where you were allowed out, we actually just met in a bar. Just a friend's party, and she was there and got talking, and she works at Property Finder, so she's heavily immersed in real estate herself.
She's still there?
She's still there. She actually works at AirDXB. So no, she's not still there, sorry. So she worked there, she works at AirDXB now. Okay. I didn't steal her.
Oh, okay.
I didn't steal her. I didn't bang her on the head either, but I was doing what I was doing with AirDXB, and I just got into interiors, and I was teaching myself, got through it. She was like, that's quite good fun, and she now runs it.
The interiors?
Runs the interiors.
So she is the CEO of the interiors? The woman that you talked about?
My wife runs the whole interiors division.
Interesting.
Company, interiors by AirDXB, she runs all of it. So I got up to, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 projects. She's the one that's done 400, 500 now. And we're way past 500 now. Yeah. She's the one that's built it. I'm there to help and assist. She's had a baby, had our baby. So she steps out, but she's a bit like me. She's been through this business. She's seen a lot. Yeah. Right? She didn't just come in and do interiors. She came and supported other parts. So what I find that she's doing is similar to me. We'll go into different parts of the business and say, how is everyone? Going back to the question of what you were saying, what do? I do a lot of troubleshooting. If I can see something's coming off, I'll jump in, pull it apart, rebuild it, and away we go. And she's doing that, but interiors is her baby, and she's built it incredibly well. Yeah. To move to that level and to have a renovations department. I think last I saw we have 9 projects on the go at the moment. 9. You know, and this, if we've spent 5,000 or 10,000 dirhams on advertisement, which I stopped 6 months ago, this is all referral business. Massive testament to their ability.
I feel like especially in Dubai, because it's such it's a massive population in a tight area, and also marketing is just really hard here, isn't it? Because everybody's marketing like crazy. So word of mouth is like more important, I feel like.
It is, and deviating off what everyone else does. And that's what I've done with AirDXB.
What do you mean deviating?
Well, everyone else will how many ads do you see on Instagram of want to make 40% more than long term? I'm going to do this, and there's another holiday home company. You look at AirDXB, it's numbers, data. We don't do what everyone else does. We want to be different. We want to stand out. And when you talk about the interior side of things and how we've built that, what we're, you know, the money that you'll pay, but the product that you'll get, the connections that we've made. I mean, a lot of furniture is now custom made. So it's actually made for order for us, because of course we're ordering so much, but we get a heavy discount on it. So for the client, they're getting a great product for not a lot of money. I trim our fees. You know, we've been told that we could double our fees tomorrow. Don't. Just leave it where it is. You know, we're not here. Money to me is a byproduct, always has been.
You're just building
I just want to go. Yeah. I enjoy it. And as I said, you know, if you're going to put yourself at certain health risks, right, that's how much I love it and I need it, and you want to go. And it's a byproduct, and I'm sure you could milk a bit more money out of it, but it's working. Keep it going, support it, nurture it, and away you go. So,
all right, we're coming towards the end here.
Okay.
But I wanted to, since you've been in Dubai for so long, I wanted to get your thoughts on what, you know, I feel like every holiday home company is feeling. We mentioned this before, that the long-term market is coming, you know, very close to the short-term market. Do you feel like that's going to change, or do you feel like, and why is this happening?
It goes on. Well, everyone has, Dubai is the buzzword around the world now. It's the place to be. Everyone's piling in. There isn't enough property for the population increase. Rates therefore go up. Dubai was incredibly undervalued. incredibly, I bought myself a 3-bedroom apartment in Skyview, Dubai Marina for 1.3 million. That's now what, 3.5, right? There was, it had naturally, I was saying at the early part of this podcast, prices were just dropping because there was no stimulus. And so Dubai has over time become an incredibly attractive place, and then COVID's gone bang, put it in the spotlight of everyone. Everyone's now pouncing on it. West is obviously struggling, and all the West are now pouring in, as we know. Lots of money's coming in. So when you see the uptick then of this population growth, it's going to drive these long-term rents up.
But why doesn't that impact the short term as well?
Because there's only a certain amount of tourists coming through.
Okay.
So tourist growth year on year isn't a lot. When you look at the population growth, exactly that. So the population growth is increasing the way it is, then those prices will go up the way that they have. When you look at the tourists that are coming through, you've got to remember how many keys you've got. Do you know that there's the same amount of keys, hotel room keys in Dubai than there is in Vegas? And Vegas is double the amount of tourists.
Yeah.
That just shows that is a saturated market. Of course it is. But this is, again, why with AirDXB, I want to deviate. I want to do something different because it's a saturated market. And it's now a buzzword to be involved in short lets. Now, if we look at the short let market, there were 22,500 available properties, according to AirDNA, in November. Up till last month, that dropped to just over 17,000.
So it's been dropping.
The short let market, because everyone's moving over to the long term.
Exactly.
So what should that do? Effectively, it's a supply and demand scenario. So if there's less supply but continued demand, then shouldn't rates be going up? Well, we're seeing it. We've changed platform, but that could be it. But what we saw in the last month is that there were 1,000 additional properties have been added to the short let register. So there's around 18,500 available properties in Dubai now for short let, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot. But when you look at the amount of hotel keys, right, hotel rooms there are, there's a lot of saturation there. But the long-term effect will be detrimental to short-term. So the days of shouting about, I can make you 40% more are gone. What you need to do is focus in on, well, who is your target clientele? Is it someone that wants to sell in 6 months? As we all know, you'd far rather go to the market with a vacant property than one with a tenant in situ, because it can open up to a wider audience of buyers. So a lot of our investors want that. Now, how many more transactions are happening now than there were last year? Was it 50% more transactions? So the churn's massive. So there's a lot more people here in Dubai now that don't want a long-term tenant, want to keep the property vacant but still need an income because it's on the market for sale, because they know they can get more money and they can open up to a wider audience.
Yeah,
it's just a different message.
I feel like so obviously anywhere in the world there's a gap between the long and the short-term rental market, and I feel anywhere else in the world it's bigger. And the reason why it is smaller in Dubai is because of the flexibility that short-term rentals offers. So some people are actually happy to be on short-term rentals without making more money just because of the flexibility.
100%.
Yeah, I made a reel about this that got over 1 million views.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. But all the comments were people just saying, he's wrong, this is bullshit, this is not right. But maybe because I didn't explain it properly.
No, you're right. And I'll pay testament to that. I'm behind you. I'll tell those million. No, it's absolutely right, because all these investors, I mean, I'm in property, I know it, but I'd far rather try and sell a property as a broker, as an investor, whatever, with a tenant in there for the next 12 months. Tenant rights are growing. In Dubai now, more tenant rights are being issued. You know, you look at the way rent increases are now happening. It's all going in the tenant's favour. So a lot of these landlords are saying, okay, if I could, again, keep numbers simple, I can put it on for $1 million with a tenant, or I can put it on for 1.2 vacant, ready to go. I did a deal, Base Central. We got, I can't remember the numbers exactly. I think it was on for 1 million dirhams. We're talking 18 months ago. On for 1 million, I ended up getting just under 1.3. Because it was vacant on transfer, and I negotiated quite aggressively on my owner's behalf. Effectively got into a bidding war, but said if you want it, and this person really wanted it because it was vacant. So he paid almost 20% more than the asking price. Exactly. Can he get the keys when he walks in? That, in the market that is moving as quickly as it is now, is massive. And the money that you can now make as an investor is way more than an extra 4,000 dirhams on long term. Yeah,
because people don't realize that if an apartment in Dubai has a tenant in it, when you buy it, you need 12 months to get rid of the tenant.
Correct.
Yeah.
And only 4 reasons.
Yeah.
There's only 4 reasons you can get rid of a tenant. You can't just say get out.
Tell me why. What's the reason?
Oh, here we go. So if you're selling it, if your family, you or your family moving into it, if you're doing major structural works, there's the 3. You're testing me now. Maybe there's only 3, but there's 4. There is a 4th. Selling it. It was selling, moving in, large structural works, and there was something else. I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But you look at those 4 reasons, and it looks as though the UK could be going that way as well. There's big talks of that. But they're the only 4 reasons you can remove someone. And then if you don't, like the tenant rights, we've had owners come to us saying, I will never, ever long-term again, ever. In fact, we've had 2 people come back to us in the last month that long-term in the last year. They said, I'll never do it again. But we've had 2 situations where the tenant has just left Dubai. And you have to go through the Dubai courts. It took 6 months to go through that process, and the owner could not access that property, let alone rent it out. So we lost 6 months of income and all the legal
because
bills.
it was like 4 checks, and then 1 check just bounced.
Yeah, and the tenant just skipped Dubai, just left.
And then they need 6 months just to
Go through the court process.
to get some new tenant in.
No, to go through the court process. So to effectively, so if a tenant's moved in, he's then left Dubai, money's bounced, but he's still under contract.
Okay.
So you've got to go through all the Dubai courts and all their systems to effectively evict that tenant, even though they're not in Dubai because they've run
So
away.
you can't even put it on Airbnb.
Can't do anything. You aren't legally allowed to step foot in it.
Oh, you're not even allowed to enter.
So we had 6 months. I watched it, a 6 month process to get
That's why
feedback.
people love 1 check in Dubai.
This is it.
That's
This is
why.
it. But then you do have various other issues that can happen beyond that as well. Tenants don't check out. You are right. 1 check up front and the rest of it. But I don't want to go to long term. If long term's 50% more than short term, I'll consider it. If it's 10 or 15, 20%, I wouldn't. Because anything can happen, especially with the unrest in the region. If I want to sell it like that tomorrow and it's vacant now, I've got a far higher chance. And to me, that means more than making an extra 6,000 dirhams a year, because that 6,000 dirhams a year over a 12-month period, that's an extra 400-500 dirhams a month. I'd far rather have the flexibility. Bang on. This is it.
Exactly.
So this is what we're seeing. What we're having as well is a lot of our homeowners are saying, well, I love to holiday in Dubai. So they all come in for 2 months a year and give it to us for 10.
So exactly this reason is why it is very hard to sublease in Dubai.
Yeah.
Because owners are pushed into the short-term rental market, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, any final words? Where can people find you if they want you to manage their apartments?
Yeah, so air-dxb.com. Check us out on there on our website. All our contact information is there. So call us, message us, WhatsApp us, whatever. Look out for us. Look at our new research report that's coming out next week. Some great information, and it isn't biased to AirDXB, but it's looking at all these different markets. We'll be going and looking at comparable global markets. Check all that out. So if you ever get interested in this, whoever's listening, we're here to help and support.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
But thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate it.
I learned a lot, and hope to do it again in a year or so.
Sounds good to me.
All right, perfect.
No, it's 2,000 properties.